guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Charles Glidden.
Coming up next on Top Today, we turn our focus to addiction, recovery, and the work going on at the Hope for Today Foundation. Later in the show, you can learn about how to study for the ministry at the Center for Theological Leadership. Talk Today next on Radio Cayman. Stay with me.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to Talk Today. I'm Charles Glidden. I hope your day is going well. We've all heard about the downfalls of drug and alcohol addiction. This afternoon, we hear about the work that goes on at the Hope for Today Foundation to help those recovering from drug and alcohol addiction to pull themselves up and live a better and productive life. Joining me in the studio now are Brent Hydes. He's the operations manager at Hope for Today Foundation, and also Sutton Burke. She is a therapist and the founder and clinical director of Infinite Mind Care. Folks, thank you so much for joining me here at Talk Today.
Hey, it's our privilege to be here.
Let me start off by getting a reaction from both of you as to the result of the referendum on ganja. What did you think about that? People came out and voted, and it was a large turnout, and voted for decriminalizing small amounts of ganja. What were your thoughts on that, Brent?
Well, I'm not even going to touch that.
You're not going to touch it?
I'm just going to leave it where it is. The people have spoke, and whatever they said, I'm just going to try to go along with. I don't have an opinion one way or the other.
But I mean, did you think that it would make your work harder?
What I've learned over the years is marijuana in its entirety is the gateway to all drugs. I think the message that we're sending when we legalize marijuana of any form, I think we have to be really, really careful how we try to address that, and particularly the message that we're sending to our young kids. And I'll just leave it right there.
Ms. Burke, did you have any reaction or thoughts about that?
I think it was coming. I think it was coming. We could talk a lot about it in length. I think when you have alcohol, which we know kills people and contributes to a lot of negative things in society, being a legal substance for people over the age of 18, to use discernment and critical thinking on how they use that substance, I think that we can look at a plant in the same way. And I think a lot of people and a lot of resources go to when marijuana is criminalized, that is unnecessary. And so I think it was time, but the conversation about addiction and why people might choose to use a substance like marijuana or alcohol is a whole other conversation. But I think if alcohol is legal, so should marijuana.
Brent, give us an overview of the work that goes on at the Hope for Today Foundation.
Hope for Today Foundation was established, say 15 years ago, to assist individuals in the community coming out of prison, treatment. We work with the courts, drug rehabilitation court, probation office, all of the entities basically that focus on rehabilitation. Hope for Today Foundation was established as an alternative, that we may find a solution rather than sending people to Northwood Prison where we know drugs are crazy and people continue to use it even in prison. We had to find a solution. We had to find an alternative to just sending people to Northwood Prison. So that's one of the main benefits why Hope Foundation was established. What we've also, when we look at statistics as a whole, we've discovered that for drug addicts and alcoholics to recover, it has been spoken and said that a halfway house is probably the best alternative for that to happen.
And Ms. Burke, what is your relationship with the Hope Today Foundation?
So Infinite Mind Care is an outpatient counseling facility on island. Since our operation started in 2017, we have had an outpatient drug and alcohol and treatment program, an intensive program, and a lot of our therapists are trained in addictions and are very passionate about working with people in recovery. And so we partner with Hope for Today and provide a group 2 times a month, a recovery group that's 90 minutes. One of our therapists, Raquel Tobien, provides that group. And it is a highlight, really, for us to go there and work with them. On a few occasions, I've had the privilege of getting to go run that group when Raquel is away. And I always walk away feeling so great having connected to them and really just working with them on a therapeutic group.
Is that a requirement for the residents?
We believe that having that extra connection, that extra group, it assists the residents tremendously. What we try to do is to provide an opportunity, but the best opportunity possible that these guys may continue to focus on their recovery, and being connected with Infinite Mind Care is just a plus and a benefit, not only to the foundation, but to the residents as a whole.
Now, I was looking on your website, and you're strict.
Well, there has to be rules.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't come in and say, "I want to come here," right? I mean, you got to kind of make a commitment.
Absolutely. Well, recovery is a commitment.
Yeah.
It's a decision that one makes on a daily basis to create change. And that's why the halfway house was established, to provide that structure to individuals that are actually seeking recovery. There are rules and guidelines where one has to get up at a certain time, make up their own bed, clean up, do their chores, I mean, it's like growing up again for most of us.
So you're instilling discipline. You got some discipline being instilled there.
Well, it's kind of like growing up again.
Yeah.
I call it growing up again. So once you fall off track and you're constantly smoking weed or doing drugs on a daily basis, you kind of lose that structure of life. And those simple, what I call simple responsibilities that one individual should hold on to become whole, we lose all of that when we're in active addiction. I mean, you and I have grown up here for all our lives, right? So we look at it, we don't depend on our mother anymore. We don't depend on our father once we step into recovery. And Cayman, there's a lot of individuals have depended on parents, family members to provide the stuff that they actually have to use in the bathroom. You come into Hope, you have to learn to live your life all over again.
And I would say, I would say,
Yeah.
recovery is hard.
Yeah.
And making this choice, this commitment to self is hard. Commitment to better yourself and live the life that you really dream and hope for. It is not easy, and it's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be work. But with a place like Hope for Today provides it provides that structure, and the fact that it is strict. Oh, thank God I could relax into that, it's so hard for maybe someone to do that on their own, but to have that strictness, those rules, then it helps to create that repetition and helps to create some new habits in your life, these healthy habits that maybe you haven't ever had in your life, even living under your parents' roof. So in the way, yes, it could be seen as strict and bad, but because it's not so easy to do on your own. We need to relinquish control to God, that someone else can hold us, that God can hold us. But then when you're in a home like Hope for Today, it's like, okay, these are the rules set out for me. This is the repetition. I see everyone else doing it. I need to step into that. It makes it just a little bit more easy, a little more supportive to get that life that you want.
Knowing where the boundaries are.
I
see why you call it growing up again.
Yeah,
because it's often said that children like knowing what the boundaries are and what they can and cannot do.
And when you don't have that in your home, or someone is leaving northward, and they're going to go back into society, the biggest thing that, I know Brent can talk about in recovery is people, places, and things. And certainly in our practice at Infinite Mind Care, just if you're trying to better yourself and you live in a home that is, you're in a toxic relationship or there's things going on in the home that are not conducive to how you want to live your life, it's hard. Mm-hmm. So when you're coming back into society, you're really wanting to live your life a certain way, to step into a place like Hope is providing. It is, it makes a huge difference.
And then understanding.
We have to stick a pin there because I need to take a commercial break, but we'll be right back.
There's something new at Subway. Indulge your taste buds with our new barbecue pork rib sandwich tender. Smoky pork ribs smothered in sweet and tangy barbecue sauce, built just the way you like it. It's bold, rich, and seriously satisfying. But hurry, it's here for a limited time only. Order now on the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick in-store pickup, or get it delivered with Bento or Let's Eat. The all-new barbecue pork rib sandwich, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
Yummy. Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Looking for ways to save energy and learn more about sustainable living? Visit empoweringcayman.com. Explore inspiring stories about our history, practical tips, and the latest updates on how COC is prioritizing affordability for customers. Be a part of the change today.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we're talking about the work that goes on at the Hope for Today Foundation. What are some of the things that is required to be accepted at Hope for Today Foundation House?
To be accepted into the Hope for Today Foundation Halfway House program, you definitely it all starts with being clean. You have to be clean before we would even talk to you, as far as being a resident. What happens is we would get contacted by probation, most of the probation or the courts, occasionally many times the prison. We would then do an intake. It was at the prison, or many times we would do that intake by Zoom. We would then look at the information that we have been given. And usually if it's something that's where an individual has been struggling with substance abuse issues for a long time, we would then try to put our thoughts around it between our board and myself and the other people that are involved with the program. We would try to set up a program for that particular individual.
So you individualize the therapy?
Every individual has their own program. There's no one program that's going to fit everybody. We have to look at the individuals separately. So that's what we try to do.
And so they again have to commit to your requirements as far as our conduct.
They have to sign off on all our rules, guidelines, and expectations. There's forms that they sign when they come into the program, as far as our rules and our guidelines and all that stuff.
How important to recovery is isolation from the old friends, the old hangout areas?
I could touch on that, but I'll just throw that at Sutton. I think she was speaking about that a little earlier. People, places, and things.
People, places, and things. I mean, if you're trying to make a change in your life, you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, also positive messaging. If you're trying to make a change and you go back to those old people, let's say, they're going to be doing those things that you no longer want to participate in anymore. So you can put it, and there is it could be seen as a form of exposure therapy. And I worked in inpatient treatment centers. People would say that they would test themselves and go sit at a bar to see, to have willpower. But this isn't about willpower. This is about the kind of life that you want to live and surrounding yourself with people and in the places they're going to work towards your new life. And so surrounding yourself with like-minded people who don't drink. So you can find joy in life doing things that don't require drinking, right? If you keep going to those places, then you're not learning anything new. You're not doing anything new for yourself to find joy in something new, in who you are.
And bear in mind, I mean, there's occasional times when we may have to see those old friends. Mm-hmm. But there's also steps that we take. There may be times when we may have to go to a party, a wedding. All of these things may involve our lives because our friends who get married and life goes on. But there's also steps that we can take to protect ourselves when we do go to those places. We invite someone in recovery. We invite a positive friend, someone that knows our history, someone that knows what we're all about, that's there for support. And we don't have to go and stay all night. We can just sort of go say hello, eat a piece of cake, and say, brother, I love you, but it's time for me to move on. So we set boundaries with ourselves because we have to protect our recovery at all costs. Because remember, today I come first, and I have to protect myself first. My friends are great. They're doing great things. But I also remember that some of my friends are living a different lifestyle than the one that I would choose to move and be a part of today.
Now, you use the 12-step
absolutely
method, right?
Yes.
I mean, that has been around for quite a while now, and I know there's been some, you get these other approaches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But 12-step has really been like the program, right?
It is.
What makes it work so well?
Well, when you look at the 12 steps, it gets to talk about our unmanageability or powerlessness. We look at how we take inventory, how we address some of the major complexities that have kept us as human beings stuck. We have walked around with resentments and anger and frustration and all that crazy stuff. The 12 steps allows us and puts us in a place, if we're willing to do so, to address some of these issues. When we look at the 8th and the 9th step, when it talks about making an amends, for all of us have harmed people in some way or another. The 8th and the 9th steps allows us to make a list of the people that we have harmed, stepped on their toes, stole from, bent from, whatever we've done to them. If we can find that list and be honest with ourselves, then the 9th step gives us a chance to try to find those people and say, I'm sorry. The hardest thing about the 9th step, as people try to work it though, because you see, if I've taken $10 from you, instead of me trying to give you back your 10, they suggested I give you back 20. And that's just the way it is.
Interest, right?
Yes. So what we have to do is to basically try to make all our wrongs right. Let me give you a little piece of my history as far as trying to apply and work those steps. I went into Foster's one day, and it was somebody that I had conned, and I wasn't such a nice guy at that time. But he had assisted me with some funding. Of course, I was lying and not telling the truth. He found out later I wasn't telling the truth. So whenever he would see me, he would really just look at me like, if looks could kill, I would be dead. So whenever I would go to Foster's and I would see him in Foster's, instead of going the aisle where he was, I would skip to a tree because I really didn't want to see the guy or face the guy because of shame and the guilt that went along with the stuff that I've done. And the great thing about it, Charles, was when I did approach him to try to make those wrongs right, it wasn't about the money. It was about what I did, and for me to just simply say, I'm sorry. This is a different me today, and I'm sorry for what I've done, and just simply say, what can I do to make it right?
That's all he was looking for.
That was all he wanted to know. What can I do?
Well, how do you look at the 12-step program?
I would say that when we started just talking about Hope for Today provides structure, and that's the 12 steps. It provides a structure in a really beautiful way on living your life, and I think we can apply the 12 steps to so many, to not just addiction.
Yes.
It can be applied to everyday people who just want some guidance, because life is hard, and finding our way and living the life that we want is hard, and facing our shame and our feelings. And so I do think the 12 steps provides an incredible guideline to live well. And I know that so many people feel like failures when they relapse and they're in the 12 steps, and maybe they've gone back and they feel like they have to keep revisiting it. And so while I think that the 12 steps is an incredible tool and source that helps so many people out there struggling and who have gone through the 12 steps and find it difficult, there's other things you combined with the 12 steps. It's not
exactly.
You're not a failure if you feel like the 12 steps aren't working for you or didn't work for you. There's so many other avenues that we now have to work in the realm of addictions and substance use and recovery, that there's lots of other things that you can do along with the 12 steps, or if the 12 steps are not for you. But I do find it to be this incredible guideline and structure that helps so many people.
You mentioned the 9th step. What are some of the other significant steps that you take in that?
Well, it's 1, 2, and 3. It's actually talking about our manageability. Take step 2 when we talk about facing the insanity of the choices that we make on a daily basis, and you're talking about self-will. How self-will can run riot and it can destroy us if not addressed and put under control. But there was something that came to mind when she was talking. Is we look at recovery as a whole. Nothing's going to happen unless we get honest with ourselves. Nothing's going to happen. We can continue to go and BS around and play the game and talk the rubbish. But if we do not get honest with ourselves and address these issues in whatever area and wherever we have to go, whether it's sitting down talking to a counselor one-on-one, applying the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous to your lives, whatever we do, we must get honest with our feelings, our emotions, and all the anger and the stuff that we're carrying on a daily basis. Otherwise, then nothing's going to change. If we don't change, nothing's going to change.
Okay, on that note, we have to take a break, but we'll be right back to hear more about the Hope for Today Foundation.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
When a hurricane hits, unexpected costs can add up fast. Homeowners are usually out of pocket for these costs to get supplies or make minor repairs. But with Cineco's parametric coverage, you get automatic payouts within 2 to 3 weeks after a Category 3 or stronger storm, whether or not you have damage. Available only through Cineco Homeowners Insurance. Call 949-8101 or visit Cineco.ky for a quote. That's Cineco.ky to get a quote today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today. And just before we went on the break there, we were talking about being honest with yourself if you're going to make any progress. And Ms. Burke, you wanted to add on to that.
That's a really important piece in the 12 steps, is really getting honest. And that's so hard. And in the therapy world, we we see that in terms of saying that someone might lack insight into themselves. And it's just not there. They're not seeing themselves for, what their behaviors are causing in their own life or impacting in other people's lives. And they just lack that insight to what's happening. And that is that, reality check and that ability to really get honest. And it takes something. And I think that's what we're speaking about.
Yes.
So important then to make those changes, to move forward, is when you get honest, when you have some insight.
Well, we're talking about being honest. A lot of people will say, well, yeah, I use drugs recreationally, or I drink occasionally, social drinker kind of thing. When people say that, are some of them fooling themselves?
Well, I would say one is not everyone who takes a sip of alcohol or who has tried drugs in their life are an addict or someone who is abusing drugs and alcohol or misusing even. So we can't say that everyone is, everyone is, although there's lots of things that we can be addicted to. But to answer your question, absolutely. That's that lacking insight. And we hear that all the time. It happens every day in our office. And I'm sure Brent comes across people describing their use or misuse in that way. And that's that lacking insight or just not admitting the truth to themselves. Sure.
I've run into many people during the course of working at Hope for Today Foundation where they may say they don't have a problem. They may say, I don't drink that much. But when you have an in-depth conversation with them and they start talking about their relationships, their jobs, what their jobs, how they've lost jobs, how their relationship is damaged, and if you get an opportunity to talk to their girlfriend or their wife, you or I may never see it. It's the wife or the girlfriend that's going to feel it when he goes home, he or she goes home. So we're talking about someone coming into therapy and trying to get some sort of insight of what's happening in their relationship with their family and their friends. Unless they open up and be completely honest about what's happening in the household, the stuff they've lost. If they don't speak about those things, or if there's really never been no real repercussions of their action, they may never see themselves as having a serious problem.
That's the idea of, despite the consequences, I continue to do something.
I can quit anytime.
Yeah, despite the consequences, I continue to drink or use. Now that's when we look at it as some kind of major concern. That's one of the things, the definitions of dependency that really sticks out to me. And that is part of when the counseling process, when someone's coming in and they're saying that I don't have a problem. Well, now we go over the consequences. Okay, have you ever lost a relationship? Have you ever gotten in an argument? Have you ever had to call off a day of work? How many Mondays do you miss in the year?
It goes on.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned about some of the people that you see, they were dependent on their parents. When you're talking about growing them up again. Mm-hmm. Do family, friends, by constantly bailing people out of situations, are they just enabling the addiction?
It has been going on of my experience in Cayman for the longest time. Our sisters, our brothers, our mothers and our fathers has continued to bail individuals out, that has continued to be arrested, had continued to get in problems for drinking and drugging and just showing up. I can remember a situation surrounding me in active addiction. I have two sisters that love me to death. They were having a conversation one day about me being incarcerated in Northward. One said, we're going to get him out. The other one said, leave him there. Let him and give him some time to focus and think about what he's going to do with himself. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me.
So some tough love helped you?
Exactly. What it provided for me is time to look at where I was, what I was doing with myself. I was basically killing myself. So it provided me with an opportunity to reflect back on my behaviors, my lifestyle, and most of all, the way I treated myself as a human being. So I was able to reach out from prison to some friends of mine that I know that are in the program that was on the road. So I asked them to bring me some literature. They brought me a whole bunch of Narcotics Anonymous books and a whole bunch of literature. And what I did take up, and like I tell you, it's almost 17 years ago when I was in prison, I did take up the fact that I would approach the director of prison, who was Mr. Scott at the time, about establishing more 12-step recovery meetings in the prison. And that's what I did while I was there. I focused and I facilitated. Instead of having one 12-step meeting in prison, he was able to give us an opportunity to have 3. So what it done for me was it provided me an opportunity to be of service to those that are struggling with substance abuse issues and to be able to share my experience, strength, and hope. But what it did do for me also, it kept me clean and sober while I was in prison. I had no interest of getting involved with those that were just playing around. And I started to grow up in prison and realize, shit, there's a lot of fun on the road. Why am I doing up in here?
And that led you into the Hope Foundation?
Absolutely. Then once released, we sat on the decks of Double O's porch one night, a bunch of us, and we decided there had to be another link in the chain of recovery. So the bunch of us put together and established the Hope for Today Foundation. And today now we have 2 halfway homes. We have the Bridge and we have Hope for Today Foundation. The 2 of us have the same mission. We work closely together to assist those in the community struggling with substance abuse. We could use a couple of more of these homes if possible.
We have someone on the line here that made a call.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Charlo. This is Carlisle. I wanted to register a couple of bits of information and personal experience in regard to cannabis consumption.
Okay, go ahead.
Number one is because cannabis has been criminalized, it's a criminal offense to possess it. It has affected many Caymanians adversely. People get a police record for possessing even a small amount of cannabis or selling it or any such thing.
Excuse me.
They wind up being shut out of the workforce because of that criminal record. And it becomes a systemic thing where the police, for instance, are eager to criminalize a young Caymanian person by catching him or her with a little ganja. And if they are caught with a little bit of ganja, they can never become a policeman and compete with them or a prison officer. I have ministered at the prison, as Brent knows, for more than a decade. And I'm telling you that criminalizing people but because of the use of ganja has caused havoc in this community. I'm looking them in the eyes in the prison. I'm watching how many prison officers are Caymanians. I'm looking at how many police are Caymanians, and I'm realizing that there's a connection. Let me give you a personal example about the effects of cannabis. There was a young man close to me who went to prison not because of that, but because of another offense. He was in there for 9 months. I minister to him as well there every Sunday morning. And this young man, when he came up for judgment about whether to be released in 9 months, the judge told him, you will be tested once a week, I think it was, for any sort of drug in your system. if there is such a thing, you will not come back to court. What you will do is you will go straight back to prison. Well, that young man was released, came home, and took the alcohol right away. Within a month and a half or so, he was able to tell his mother and me that he was physically addicted to alcohol because it was right down the street. He was of age to buy it. He bought it, he hid it from us, and he got addicted to alcohol, trying to cope with ADHD and depression. What happened then was...
You're going to have to make your point real quick because I'm over time here.
My point is, when the young man's mother told him that he had to quit alcohol or he'd be kicked out of the house, she also asked him, and how did you cope when you were in prison because you couldn't get alcohol in prison? And this is what he said: I smoked. That was caused him to be able to cope. He used cannabis.
Okay, I'm going to have to break in here because I'm a minute over time and we have to go to the headlines. Thank you so much for the call, though.
Thanks, Carly.
It's time for our news.
We are Radio Cayman.
Covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
I'm April Cummings with your headlines. The 2025 Education Professionals Welcome is tomorrow, and Radio Cayman will be carrying the event live starting at 9:30 a.m. The event brings together government educators and leadership to discuss the school year ahead. The Department of Education Services will be closed, by the way, from 8:30 a.m. and reopen at 1 p.m. In international headlines, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was expected to give final approval today for plans to take over Gaza City. It's an operation that could start within days. The widening of the 22-month offensive against Hamas appears to be proceeding, despite protests in both Israel and the Palestinian enclave. Netanyahu was set to meet with top security officials to sign off on the plans, according to an Israeli official who was not authorized to brief media and spoke on condition of anonymity. It was unclear whether they would discuss a ceasefire proposal from Arab mediators that Hamas says it has accepted. The number of people in the U.S. illegally surged to an all-time high of 14 million in 2023, according to a research group today, a major increase that still falls well short of estimates from U.S. President Donald Trump and some immigration critics. The Pew Research Center's closely watched gauge rose from 11.8 million a year earlier and surpassed the previous high of 12.2 million in 2007. The increase was driven by some 6 million who were in the country with some form of legal protection. President Trump has stripped many of those protections since taking office in January. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born September 25, 1947, at Watering Place, Cayman Brac, Royce Adolphus Dilbert was the firstborn son to Helen and Grace Dilbert, née Tibbetts. As a young boy, he attended Weston Primary School, then later Gainstead High School in Jamaica, when the family moved there to be closer to his dad, who was chief engineer on Cockernel ships. During school breaks, he would work at Hannah's haberdashery store as a wrapper. Wanting to be a seaman and engineer like his dad, shortly after his 16th birthday, Royce would join his dad on the Cockernel ship, the Kirk Pride, as a messman, later working on other Cockernel ships, for Bawden Shipping on the Merkel, National Bulk Carriers, West Indian Towing Company, and West Indian Lines. Mr. Dilbert would enroll at National Technical School, and at age 25, he achieved his chief engineer license. By this time, Royce had worked his way up the ranks from BR messman to wiper oiler, fireman, second and first engineer to chief engineer.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and a quick weather check here. 91 degrees at Owen Roberts International. Feels like 107. Winds 8 knots out of the south-southeast, and the forecast calling for thunder showers straight through until tonight. And checking in with the Hurricane Center in Miami, well, the Atlantic is pretty active out there. We got Erin off the east coast of the U.S., and we got a Disturbance 1. We shouldn't have to worry about that. That's kind of following the same kind of track that Erin went to, going up to the northwest. Disturbance 2, way out there in the Atlantic, that could form into a short-lived tropical depression, but in a couple of days, environmental conditions are expected to become unfavorable for further development, and that's what we want to hear. Let it fizzle out right out there in the Atlantic.
Leave that where it is.
Yes. We have a caller that's been patiently waiting, so let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Glidden, and yes, I have patiently been waiting.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon to Brent and to Sutton there. Neither may recognize my voice, but that's okay. I'm glad to see that both of you are working together, Sutton at Infinite Mind Care and Brent there at the other organization. And I don't know if this has been happening, but it would be great if all counseling centers can try to get involved in some way with this program that Brent has here, because we know they have quite a significant amount of persons that are going through these transitions in life. I wanted to just touch on a few points. Family and friends supporting addicts. Some things I didn't hear really mention are that family and friends are often, especially family, are often scared of some of these addicts, and even in trying to do what Brent said his family did with him, some are still scared. They don't know which decision to make. And, Cayman is so small and everyone is so closely knitted and connected. It's often hard to determine what is the best choice or you kind of feel obligated. And I remember helping a young man, and that was, one of the things. His mother was not supportive at all. He even tried to leave the island to try to rehabilitate himself because Cayman is so small and it was so hard. And that the mother was not encouraging, was not supportive in terms of, giving encouraging words and offering consistent place to live and that sort of thing. And, we may have the transition houses, but I have found, and I know of another story that Brent, I won't say online, but I know a lady that went through your program, and for a while she was successful, but again, because of the small environment, she got back into the same patterns, and she eventually passed away because the addictions, especially the alcohol, weighed on her health, and she eventually passed. But I just want to say that we need to actively think hard, and I'm sure Brent has done this, and I know Sutton not too well, but enough to know about her that these are caring people who want to see any addicts that are in the Cayman Islands be successful. I do know of 2 persons in Bordentown who successfully got out of addiction. They were very, very deep into cocaine addiction, and they were able to get out of that with the help of support and family members and so forth. So I know it can be done, but what else can we do as a community, as a society, and as organizations and government collectively, family and friends, try to help our people? And the number one thing I wanted to say that contributes to some of these people regressing is coming into society and not being able to get a job. In the States, it is it is a huge thing for persons to give rehabilitated persons a second chance and a third chance, even with a conviction and their record and that sort of thing, depending on what the conviction is for and depending on the employer. And that is one thing we do not see happening here in Cayman. Employers do not want to give, especially our Caymanians who have been through certain situations, addictions, and prison and that sort of thing. So that is something. I hope someone gets the word out to Minister Miles, but I know he's on top of these things. But I just want to leave that there with Sutton and Brent also to, I know you guys have thought about all this, but that also goes back into whether they reoffend or regress or, go back into the addiction cycle or whatever, because such a small society and no one wants to give them a chance and they feel hopeless and, well, this is all I know, so let me, and that's not saying that it gives them an excuse, but I just want to put it out there to be mindful that is a huge contribution in my sight that could play a part. But great topic, great conversation, and you guys have a good afternoon. I may call back, but I'll
thanks for the call.
Thank you so much.
Is that a problem that came out? What she was just talking about?
I think she
accepted after you.
I think she touched on some very important points. But one particular point that she touched on that I would like to speak a little bit about is the family issue. See, sometimes we get addicts and alcoholics that are in active addiction, and if the family unit, whether it be a wife, husband, brother, whoever that is, if they sometimes don't seek help for themselves, what they're going to find is this individual may just hold them hostage for years. They will then become the individual hostage, where everything that they need, they will cry to them for. And if they're providing it, they will just continue to make themselves sicker. So themselves may have to seek professional help.
It's a really important topic, and it's something that we talk about constantly because a lot of times loved ones are who's calling our offices and on behalf of their loved one that needs help. And so we always say, okay, well, we need your loved one to call and make the call for themselves. But how can I help you? How can I support you now through this? It seems like you are struggling. They'll say, this is so hard for me. And they'll start to talk about how it's impacting them. But I don't have time to do this. This is not my problem, right? It's they're the ones using. And then that's when we talk about honesty and having insight into who we are, that even a family member, this has impacted so much that, how can we work on ourselves after dealing with that? It's so hard. Something that came up when I was listening to the caller speak was this idea of separateness, that there's so much judgment when we see someone who has struggled with addiction and maybe they're in recovery now, but we just remember the old them.
Mm-hmm.
We can't see them for maybe who they are now and their changed selves. We just remember that old way of being. And something for me that I see so clearly is there is no difference between myself and someone who is in recovery or someone who has struggled with addiction. No difference. We are all looking to escape feeling nasty feelings in our body. Everybody, all people, have difficulty managing shame, managing nasty, I just say icky, sticky feelings, anything that just doesn't feel right. No one wants to feel that. Now, the difference maybe between how I manage or how I've managed or other people manage and someone who is in recovery or who is in active addiction is they are using substances that are super harmful to their body, that change their personality, their behaviors and health and yada, yada, yada.
And that's their coping device.
Yes, but how do other people cope? With their phone, right? The addiction to their phone. So I don't have to feel, I don't want to be in this conversation right now. I don't want to sit with the anxiety that feels disgusting. I don't want to deal with how I might have impacted my loved ones in an argument and my speech and my behavior. So to get out of that nastiness, I'm going to look at my phone. I'm going to shop. I'm maybe going to have relationships that don't suit me. I am going to avoid. I am going to bed rot, my new favorite word. Going to bed rot and lay in bed and just obsess over the television and the Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and be out of this world because I want to disassociate. I don't want to be in my body. I don't want to be in my mind. And I'm going to do anything I can to get out of that. And so many people are walking around doing that. Maybe they're not drinking or using drugs, but they're disassociating in another way. And so we really need to see ourselves not as separate, very much the same. We're just making different choices on how to cope.
Before we went on, I think when we were talking here, you mentioned even sex. People escape with sex, right?
100%. And it is a way, so I do not have to be of my mind and of my body. I'm in another form of pleasure. And that's what we were talking about earlier with Brent talking about substances. Most people are drinking and using for that moment of that pleasure and I would say maybe not even pleasure, relief.
Yes.
So sex can provide just a relief of, not thinking and obsessing over whatever you have going on in the world. And that is what you get from a substance. But that substance is so stigmatized. Someone who has been addicted, is in recovery, is so stigmatized. Now, of course, usually sex doesn't lead to stealing, lying, violence, and sometimes what addiction does to people, right? And so then we don't look at it that way. Now, sometimes sex does lead to all those things as well. I think that's so important to see that we are the same, but also what the caller was talking about in society and people coming back into society and trying to live, we all have to have our boundaries. And so how does a family member love someone who is in recovery or past addiction who may have hurt them and still have their boundary? And everyone's entitled to have their boundaries and how they manage and deal with their loved ones. They are entitled to do that.
Do you keep records as far as success rates?
Yeah, I do.
And how is the success rate of the foundation?
What I can tell you just off the top of my head, this year we've had, I think it was 22 people that have actually came to the home. As it is right now, we're looking at 10 that has transitioned from the home successfully. There's a couple that has come back because of their slip-ups and relapse. But I think the foundation is doing really well as far as the numbers that are coming in. We have just created a relationship with the people down at Lacovia that are employing also the workers. So we have built up many relationships over time, the holiday.
You have quite a few partners in the community, right?
Absolutely. Oh, partners that are there as well. Woody Foster is one of our biggest partners. Foster's Food Fairs is a big supporter also of the Hope for Today Foundation. We have a lot of people that are involved with this organization because a lot of people want to see people do well. We have crime. on this island that are escalating to the place where people are feeling uncertain and unafraid. We have to look at, this is not our favorite conversation to sit at a dining room table to have, right? To talk about people struggling with substance abuse and all that crazy stuff. We also have to look at the fact that there's no one person that woke up in the morning and decided today this is going to be my occupation. I'm going to set out to be a complete jackass and a drunk or a drug addict and a complete pest to the community. That was not something that we woke up and we decided one morning we were going to become. So it's like we've been talking about through the show. There are issues, there are problems that individuals are facing. Unless these things are properly addressed in a healthy setting and one starts getting honest with themselves, that may never happen. Because people can continue to go in and self-medicate their feelings and their emotions, but that doesn't necessarily help the issue. The issue is how does Sutton and I and everybody else in the community, how do we get to the bottom line, and that's to get to the root of the issue. And we can only get to the root of that issue is when the individual is being completely with us, and we can provide ways and means and a way for it to be addressed.
How do you get your funding?
I want to thank this particular government that has recognized the fact that Cayman is home to many people that are struggling with addiction issues. They have completely embraced what Hope for Today Foundation is doing in the community. Hope Foundation is a benefit, a huge benefit to the people of the Cayman Islands. When we look at the purse of what it costs to house a prisoner in Northward on an annual basis, when you look to what it costs to operate Hope for Today Foundation, it's a little over the amount of housing a prisoner. So we can run Hope for Today Foundation for approximately $122,000, $130,000 annually. It costs just a little bit more than that to house a prisoner, or just a little bit less than that, I should say.
One prisoner?
One prisoner. So you look at the fact now that Sutton and Raquel and the people that are involved, we went from where we had signed a purchase agreement with the government of the Cayman Islands, where we had to do a minimum of 7 and a maximum of 10. So those had to be our numbers annually, right? Now we have increased that. We have gone from the 10 to 11. Now we're increasing again from 11 to 13. So you look at the cost of housing a prisoner compared to 13 residents down at Hope for Today Foundation. And we have spoken to the government about this, and they have completely embraced it, which is a great thing, because what we're doing, we're becoming a benefit to the community. We're becoming a benefit to government, and we're assisting those in recovery that need structure in their lives. And as I've said, if there's anyone that are planning or looking or trying to find recovery, a halfway house is the best setting. Statistics has proven that.
And I would think that there's quite a few people in Northward or Fairbanks that drugs or addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs, is at the root of it.
Most of the time we have yes, exactly. That's why they're there. They're there for usually a lot of petty crime that involves the drugs and alcohol. Them trying to feed their addiction.
And I think it's important to also note that usually when we see an addiction, there's so many other things going on. Mm-hmm. There is childhood trauma. There is a lack of connecting to self and understanding self. There is anxiety. There is ADHD, like the other caller brought in. Super high correlation between ADHD and a substance use disorder. Depression, PTSD, long list going on. Things that have been untreated, learning disabilities that maybe you were never diagnosed with a learning disability as a child and you had difficulty in school, difficulty connecting to other people, and then maybe you tried some kind of substance for whatever reason it is, and you found some kind of relief. You found a place to fit in that all of a sudden you weren't able to, that you stopped judging yourself for just a moment on what made you different. And now the continued use, which a substance sucks you in, and that's the addiction and the dependency, that caused so much havoc in your life. But there is this underlying thing so connected to that addiction, and that's that root that we want to treat. And also what we now talk a lot about is that lack of connectivity to the lack of connectivity to yourself, to other community members, which is so important, and that lack of connectivity, that trust in God. And those really go hand in hand. And the 12 steps talk a lot about that, but lots of other programs will all have that at the foundation of the importance of connecting.
In this modern day, we have an additional thing with the whole social media, digital thing where people are on there and it's like, I'm not like the rest. I'm different. Yeah.
And social media, if you look at the studies, and there's so many studies now to say this and support this, is there is a direct correlation with the amount of time you spend on social media and an increase in mental health disorders, depression,
and the bullying,
anxiety. And I mean, of course, well, that's just an easy outlet to do bullying now, right? Is on and the impact of that, because you can be anybody behind a screen. A bullying warrior behind a screen, hiding when you couldn't do it in person. But there is a direct correlation with the increase of screens and social media and in depression and anxiety, and then where those things could lead you to drugs and alcohol as well and impact you. But yeah, and for anybody looking at social media and having that comparison, like, oh, I'm different, I'm not like these people, you're not seeing someone's real life.
Yeah.
You're seeing
people always present the good side.
The good side, the highlight, right? Even when you see someone crying on social media, which is very interesting that, I'm going to start crying and turn my camera on. That's a whole other topic. But you're not seeing necessarily real life. We try, I started doing more social media lately, and I play with the idea of changing my name to Practicing Authenticity. Because how do you be authentic online with when a camera and the lights are on, and it's it's a direct correlation between a rise in mental health, especially amongst our youth.
Brent, can people volunteer to help?
Many people volunteer at Hope for Today Foundation. That's usually what happens is people in the community reach out to us and find out how they can help. We have had many people that come in and do other groups. We have a pastor particular that comes to the house a lot that does not necessarily spiritual groups, but he will talk about healthy relationships and stuff like that. What goes along in having healthy relationships. We have many people that come by the house that volunteer. That's what it is.
People, non-professional people that may help in other ways?
Well, what we do is we find out what they're offering. We have people that can cook. We have people that come down and they'll teach people the benefits of CPR and all that stuff. We have a lot of groups that come down and try to participate in the groups because we think any little thing can help. When you're talking about trying to rebuild a life, every little bit helps.
And you've got a fundraiser coming up.
Yes, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
What's that? That's next month. About a month away.
Yeah, correct. September is the month of recovery. Yeah. The whole month of September, people will be bouncing all over the place talking about recovery, doing different workshops, spreading the word, trying to remove some of the stigma that surrounds substance abuse in our community. But the Hope for Today Foundation puts on a 5K walk run, starting from 7 Mile Public Beach, where we put on our slacks and our socks and bring our dog and our cat, and we come out and we walk just to support and to highlight the fact that people in our community do need help. They do need the support. Hope Foundation is always trying to highlight the benefits of recovery and to get individuals involved. On September 28th, we're putting on our 13th annual walk run for recovery. We're inviting the community to come out. I hear Minister Isaac say he's going to invite everybody in government. He said he's telling them dress up because we're going walking. So we're just going to keep pressing on and invite the community to come out and be a part of it. If they want to support the foundation in any way, they can see myself at 928-9099. They can purchase a ticket, or they can get a ticket the morning of the walk. If they can't purchase a ticket, Just come out, dress up, come out and be a part of it. We're putting nothing in the way of anyone not to show up and be a part of this event.
Just even show up and support that way.
Well, if they show up and they come in for a second and third, there's trophies, medallions, there's a whole bunch of good stuff they can win. So exercise their fitness.
Brent Hydes and Sutton Burke, thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with me here in the studio, and keep the good work going.
There's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk about this delicate subject.
Thank you so much. There's always a way. That would be my last message for anybody that's out there that's really suffering, that feels like they've tried everything. I promise you, I have hope for you. There is always something else we can do. It's just a matter of asking for help.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Coming up next, we're going to be hearing about how you can get into the ministry. Stay with us.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism? On point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together.
The Cayman Islands government has released the first 100 days report, available now at gov.ky/strong start. This Friday, 22nd of August, join us at Scott's Dock, Cayman Brac, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Ministers and parliamentary secretaries will share key achievements from the first 100 days in office and the work ahead to improve lives across our islands. Be informed, be part of the conversation.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And if you want to start or continue theological studies, this segment is for you. The Center for Theological Leadership Training is offering classes that lead to certificate, diploma, and bachelor's and master's degrees in theology. And here to tell us all about that is the founder and director of the Center for Theological Leadership Training, the Right Reverend Dr. P.J. Lawrence, and also Melissa Hamilton. Folks, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good to have you here. Tell us a little bit about the training center itself.
Okay. This Center for Theological Leadership Training, we have completed about 8 years now. We are going into the 9th year in September. We offer certificate, diploma, bachelor's and master's in biblical studies, theology, counseling, and related subjects. The vision is that it's not necessarily those who are well educated with master's degrees, but also those who do not have any entry levels can enter at a certificate level and then build up other programs. So this is a new vision that we have, so that people who do not have any schooling or things like that, they are not left out. It is very inclusive. It is also non-denominational. We do not focus on any doctrine of any church, but just put there the scripture, theology, counseling, caring, all these subjects, so that people could have a rounded development with critical thinking, and it is about life skills. And I'm very happy that the very first student of this program is Melissa, who is here with us. She had 2 masters, but she started at a certificate level because she wanted to know more about the scripture, theology, and related subjects. And she has done certificate, diploma, bachelor's, master's, and she's now on our tutors list. She will be teaching in our program. So I can't have anyone better than her to authenticate this program. I ask Melissa to say more about it.
Yes, so you started with the certificate?
Yes.
And where has this led you now?
Well, pretty much I wasn't interested really to become a pastor, but very, very involved in my church. I teach Sunday school, I work with the young people, the youths. And so for me, I decided to take on the entire courses right up to the master's level because I wanted to grow spiritually. So that was a personal goal for me. Sometimes when you're in a church setting, you don't get enough exposure or emphasis on the Bible, even with Bible study. And so I wanted in-depth knowledge. I wanted to get into ask some of the questions that you don't get to ask in a typical church setting. And so I started from the bottom because I didn't want to miss anything out. And it was fantastic. I learned so much. It was a good connection with persons from different denominations. And we just had open discussions. Questions were asked, answered. So it was very good for me. I started the certificate and I went all the way because I enjoyed it and I learned much. And now I'm here to give back as a tutor.
So you have not become a pastor?
No.
So you've just used this for your own personal development?
Yes.
And you pass it on with what you do in your church?
Absolutely. And now that I'm able to help and be a tutor, also give back because teaching is my passion. And so I know that this would only strengthen in terms of when we have to do lesson plans, when we have to answer those hard questions that sometimes our young people ask. It makes me more equipped to do so. So I'm happy for that.
Well, someone who takes these courses, whether they just get a diploma or certificate or they go all the way with master's, where can this lead them? What can they do with it ultimately?
Actually, the aim of this course is that those who are already in ministry, there are many people who are doing ministry, teaching in Sunday school, or youth, or women ministry, music ministry, at different levels. As you know, by and large, at the church level, there is a lot to be done in terms of knowledge of the scriptures. We know the scriptures, but whether we really understand in its context, relevance to our context, how do we interpret it? So we started this for the sake of those who are in ministry already, in different ministries in the church, and also those who want to join ministry, full-time ministry. This kind of a course which will lead them to go into full-time ministry. In fact, we had some full-time ministers who did not have theological education, a Bible college education. They entered at a certificate level, and they have graduated from certificate to diploma, bachelor's and master's, and they are pastors on the island. In fact, I can quote one of them. We have Eastern Avenue, Church of God Prophecy. We have there Pastor White, who has a big congregation. He did all the 4-year course with us, along with his ministers. About 20 of them are trained by us. So we are very happy that there is people who feel the need for it are able to access our program, and we have faithfully delivered, and we are very satisfied, and we feel good about this program.
Now, we know that the Bible went through a number of translations. Do you help people to understand better about the language that is used in the Bible and the language that it went through, and understanding those, interpreting the language?
We are very happy to say that in our courses, we also give them basic knowledge of Greek, which is the original language in which New Testament was written, and also a course in Hebrew, basic Hebrew, in which the Old Testament is written. And at the beginning itself, we give them a background to the whole scriptures in terms of, as you said, translations, different translations, the context from which it is written, and how do we interpret it, and how do we also apply it to us, because we find that scripture is alive, and it not only spoke to thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago in the Christian church, but even now, today, it is very relevant. And I believe, as a teacher of Bible, I am still learning, and I'm putting it out there, and I find it very, very interesting that how the scripture is very relevant, especially to the context we are living today.
Ms. Hamilton, how did this help you in your understanding of the Bible, as far as knowing the language? There's some kind of foundation.
Definitely. Of course, I did struggle trying to get the Greek and the Hebrews, but it was very fascinating. But yes, it allows me to understand that the Bible itself went through different stages, and of course, there's also interpretations of Scripture. And so we spent time talking about the history, where it all started, and for me, it's getting a better appreciation of where Scriptures actually comes from, how it has evolved, and how the message, the lessons, the truth that is in the scriptures are still relevant, still real today, that we can pick any particular part and actually talk about our current situations. And so we have those lively discussions. And then when I said you have persons from different denominations, even some of the things we had to unlearn what we have learned. And that was interesting, because sometimes when you're in a particular church setting, you're taught a particular way. Here in the class, you're exposed to, the truth. You're exposed to scriptures, raw as it is, no interpretation. And then from there, you're able to explain why certain things happen or how it evolved, and then how a person sometimes misconstrue the Bible or misinterpret the Bible. So it was very interesting and fascinating for me, eye-opening.
So you actually had some moments of,
yes, I did.
That's what it really means.
Absolutely. And changed some of my previous thinking. Yeah.
Now, does people who would want to enter into this, do they have to have any kind of particular background?
Not
or
necessarily.
Education level?
We don't expect that, as I said. We don't expect them to come with anything. Actually in all our education system, people are excluded. We want to include them and then say, if they know basically how to read, write the Bible, and interested, committed, the most important thing is commitment to learn. if they have a commitment to learn, they can start. And then if they successfully complete certificate level, they can move on to next level. And if they are not very successful, at least they would have had the basic knowledge of the scriptures. In fact, I'm very happy to say I had a student who said, I came from Jamaica. I did not know how to read and write, even to write a letter to my son in Jamaica. I started with the preschool childcare working there and learned how to read and write along with the children. And now I am in the program and she has successfully completed. So, you have beautiful stories like that where they sat along. In fact, she sat along with her with the two masters and they learned together the scriptures. And it's a great experience. And therefore, we do not want to exclude anyone, include and bring them in along with others. I'm very happy to say that the very first person who has now registered for our September program is no other than our speaker, Mr. Ezed Miller. He has a master's degree and he says he wants to join the certificate, and he has registered already. And we have, so we are very proud of that fact that we are able to attract people, both those who are well educated as well as those who are not so well educated but still wanting to learn what is the scripture, what is the Old Testament, what is the New Testament, what are the Gospels, what are the prophets, what are the letters of Paul, other than Paul's letters. And also, along with that, we also give on how to care for people, psychology, caregiving, and
counseling,
different aspects of caregiving. Yeah.
Is the program accredited?
Yes, it is accredited by the international accrediting body, which is in Switzerland, and we go through intermediary ACTS, Academy of Higher Education, and we are fully accredited, and we have the information about that also in our brochure.
All right, we're going to have to stick a pin there, but we will be hearing more about the Center for Theological Leadership Training after this break.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway. Eat fresh.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Storms bring wind, rain, and unexpected costs to buy supplies, secure your home, or make minor repairs. Incidental expenses not covered by insurance. Until now, with Cineco's parametric coverage, you get automatic payouts within 2 to 3 weeks of a Category 3 or stronger hurricane, whether or not you have damage. Available only through Cineco's Homeowners Insurance. Visit Cineco.ky to get a quote today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism? On point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together.
Start. Stop. That's how long it takes to react to a child crossing the street. How long would it take you to apply the brakes? How long would it take the parents to forgive you? How long would it take you to forgive yourself? Slow down. Save a life. Not only theirs, but your own. Texting, speeding, and ignoring safety rules can cost lives. Visit gov.ky/road safety to learn more and help keep our roads safe.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Well, welcome back, and we're hearing about the Center for Theological Leadership and Training and the classes that they offer there. And we do have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air. You have a question?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you guests also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, when it comes to the Bible, I have been blessed with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that I need to understand the Bible. And I prayed for that. And I continue to pray before I read the Bible. And I have shared some testimonies with a pastor at a church. And these testimonies, if I was to share these publicly in the presence of thousands of people, I would be able to save thousands of people. But because I haven't been a member of this church for a certain amount of time, they aren't allowing me to share my testimonies publicly in the church. I know I'm a child of God. I know that personally. I sought Jesus Christ, and I sought God Almighty, and I found Him. And I know my purpose here on this earth is to feed the sheep and to take care of the harvest. I know my name is written in the book of life. I know Jesus is coming soon, very soon. And the greatest thing we can do for our young people today is to help them find Jesus Christ, God Almighty, find their will for their lives, that our young people are not living in fear or confusion. And the parents are responsible from a young age by encouraging their children to do this and by doing what is right and leading and guiding their children on the straight and narrow path. I'm able to spot a wolf in sheep's clothing, no matter who they may be. By being a child of Jesus Christ and God Almighty, they hide nothing from me. They let me know everything I need to know, that I'm not led astray. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for the call.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the call. We are very happy to say that the same concern is being addressed at the Center for Theological Leadership Training young people, and anyone who is interested to know more of the scriptures and the related subjects, you can register now. You can move on from certificate to diploma, bachelor's and master's in theology. Our contact number is Administrator Winston Vernon. You can reach him at 324-8196. That is Winston Vernon, CTLT Administrator, at 324-8196. Or you can call me. My name is PJ Lawrence, and you can call me at 922-3902. My number is 922-3902. And Winston's email is WINALVERCTLT. That is winalverctlt@gmail.com. And my email is Lawrence, LAWRENC, Joba, JOBA, @gmail.com. Thank you.
So when do classes actually start?
We start the first week of September. And we are registering people now, and we are making this promotion so that people can register. And we start, and we have all the timetables set for all the programs: certificate program, diploma program, bachelor's and master's.
So if someone signs up, what are they committing themselves to as far as how many days out of the week?
Okay. The certificate program is delivered on weekends, that is Saturday and Sunday, in the afternoon. Saturday 2 to 4:30, and Sunday 4 to 5 p.m. So this is only the weekdays, weekends, that is certificate. And other programs are in the evening, 7 to 8 and 8 to 9, 8:10 to 9:10. And this will be in the evenings during the week. And we have if you are doing a diploma or bachelor's or master's, you are committing to 3 hours a week in the evening, 3 hours a week. Each subject has 1 hour teaching, and they have to do some readings and other things. So it is 3 semesters, 3 subjects each semester. At the end of 3 semesters, that is in June, we have the graduation.
And so you're committing yourself to go all the way until June when you join this program.
Yeah. And if somebody wants to even audit, they are welcome to audit. That is, if they want to come into one or two classes or 1 or 2 subjects, wherever they are interested in. And also it is a very inexpensive course. We have not increased our fees
tuition
for the last 8 years.
What is the tuition?
For certificate, we charge $100 for 10 classes. Each subject, 10 classes, $100. We have not changed this for the last 8 years. We are going into the 9th year. We are keeping it low so that people can join. And we also have a payment plan where they don't need to come up with everything at a time. Our administrator will work with them with a payment plan.
Ms. Hamilton, were you able to juggle work and going to class very well?
Absolutely. You know, once you make up your mind for something, I wanted this. This is personal for me. And so I made the time with work, with family, everything. I made the time. I show up for my classes, do the assignment. And as I said, once you're in the classroom, it really feels good. And so you actually look forward to going to sessions.
Where did the classes take place?
We started the classes at the hall in St. George's Anglican Church, and then we also had classes at on Eastern Avenue, Victory Tabernacle. But now, after COVID, we are on Zoom.
Everything is on Zoom.
Everything is on Zoom, and you can do this program from the comfort of your home. And that's why in our programs, we are giving you all the Zoom details. And once you register, you get the Zoom details and the timetable, and you can do it at your leisure. And our programs, all our lectures are also recorded, so that if you miss anything, you can go back and visit the recording, and then you have the benefit of learning at your home, at your leisure.
Well, I want to thank you all for joining me in the studio to tell us about this. And I'm sure you'll have some people that want to sign up, even if it's just to do what Ms. Hamilton did just for their own personal development. Sounds like a very good program that you have going on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate. Shall I give the contact?
Real quick.
Quickly, you can contact Winston Vernon, our administrator, at 324-8196. That is 324-8196. You can also send an email, winalverctlt@gmail.com, winalver@gmail.com. And my name is PJ Lawrence. My number is 922-3902. My number, 922-3902. You can send me an email at lawrencejoba@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you very much. It's time to check in with the newsroom and see what's making news.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, no Cayman, on right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
I'm April Cummings with your latest headlines. The Central Caribbean Marine Institute's 2025 Eco Warrior Challenge invites government primary school classes in years 5 and 6 to design sustainable island projects for a chance to win a fully funded 3-day marine ecology course in Little Cayman. Entries are due by October 3rd. Find out more at reefresearch.org. In international headlines, a New York appeals court today threw out President Donald Trump's massive civil fraud penalty while upholding a judge's finding that he exaggerated his wealth for decades. The ruling spares President Trump from a potential $500 million fine, but bans him and his 2 eldest sons from serving in corporate leadership for a few years. James Dobson, a child psychologist who founded the conservative ministry Focus on the Family and was a politically influential campaigner against abortion and LGBTQ+ rights, died Thursday. His death was confirmed by the Dr. James Dobson Family Institute. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Welcome back. And looking at the weather, it's a hot day out there, 91 degrees. And the forecast, though, is calling for some thunder showers through the afternoon, and even forecast for thunder showers tonight. And if you're keeping up with what's happening hurricane-wise, well, Atlantic has a lot of stuff going on out there, some disturbances. Disturbance 1, that's following Aaron's track up into the north, but staying out there into the Atlantic. And the one interesting one, Disturbance 2, out there in the eastern tropical Atlantic. Well, that's going to be short-lived if the forecast stays accurate. They said a short-lived tropical depression could form in a couple of days, but luckily, environmental conditions are expected to become unfavorable for any further development. So that's the good news as far as that is concerned. Well, I don't know if you heard the first segment of the show there with Brent Hydes and Sutton. They were talking about addiction. Some great work goes on at the Hope Foundation, and a really worthy organization to support in any way that you can. Well, for the rest of the show, it's open line. What's on your mind? Pick up the phone, give me a call. You can reach me at 1-800-534-8255. That's a free call, compliments of Flow. You can also call at 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can call me on WhatsApp. That number is 925-3261. So let's talk about what's happening with you as far as what's bugging you, anything that you might want to praise, you might want to complain about, any suggestions that you might like to make, and we'll chat about it, right? There's some things happening in the news. I see this thing with the Miss Universe Cayman, another one of these pageants that my goodness, more controversy. I think everything, the last one, right? Everything was pretty cool, but in recent times, and even going back years, there was always some kind of controversy about these pageants. But now, hey, I see in the news today the tourism minister to review Miss Universe Cayman allegations. So this is gone a little further here than just someone complaining about something. So the ministry is actually taking a look at this. But sometimes these things they put a cloud over the whole idea of the pageants, which are these days they say how they empower young ladies to move forward, feel better about themselves, and when these things pop up, it like I said, just kind of puts a cloud over things. So I don't know if you have any comments about that, but we'll see how that goes, and we'll keep an eye on it. And how do you think the government is saying that they're going to be resetting the balance with the Caymanian Protection Act? Remember, it used to be that the immigration law was called the Caymanian Protection Law. It was quite plain out front, saying we're protecting Caymanians. Now I see the Minister for Immigration and Caymanian Employment is saying, we're going back to that. That's what it's all supposed to be. So it's going to be interesting to see what is going to be happening down, I guess it's in October, that we'll be getting all the details as to exactly what they mean by that. And we do have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello?
good afternoon. Good afternoon again, Charles.
Yes, good afternoon. Or good night to you.
Yeah, good night. Yeah, so when it comes to Miss Kim on Universe, I notice sometimes that those that do win aren't the prettiest of them all. And then sometimes those that do win don't give the best intelligent answers to the last questions asked. And the last Miss Universe that just happened, there's a lot of talk concerning a certain young woman,
Mm-hmm.
concerning her size and so forth. But I found that young woman to be very intelligent. She gave a good answer for the last question asked concerning what are our young people facing today that that they might need help with. And I think the young lady, Tiona Miller, I think she gave a good answer. I found her to have, when it comes best gown, evening gown, I found her to have the best evening gown of them all. When it comes to beauty, I find her to be a beautiful young woman. And I think she could have placed higher than what she did. And I noticed that a lot of times now, the women that do win, and they choose to go to Miss Universe, the ones that they do choose to be Miss Cayman Universe, which I don't think is fair. I don't think these contests are fair. That's my personal opinion. I don't think they're fair. And I think most of the time that the people that they choose to be the winner should not be the winner.
Who do they favor? What do you mean? That they're not fair?
Well, who they choose to be the winner of Miss Cayman Universe, the majority of the time, the one that they do choose, I personally don't believe that they should have won.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, it's a personal thing, then. It's your personal assessment.
Yeah, that's my personal belief.
So, but it still might be fair, though. I mean, the judge, the selection still might be fair. You might think that someone else should have done it, but be the winner. But how they went about it, it can still be fair.
Well, one thing, I'm a man, and I know a woman, and I know an intelligent and a beautiful woman when I see one or hear one.
Okay, but remember, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes. But you see, anytime, if this continues the way that it is, when they choose Miss Cayman Universe, and the individual should not have won because of unfairness, which I think is going on. Anytime that happens, and they choose that individual to represent Cayman in Miss Universe, that individual will not win. And I've proven that.
But are you saying when you say it's not, again, you're saying it's not fair, are you saying that it's because of who their family is, or that they're chosen because of their connections?
I really can't. I really can't judge to say that. But I know one thing I can judge to say for is when I hear certain answers, when I look at the beauty of a woman, when I see a woman in the best, when it comes to the best gown as a man, I can judge by those things. When I look at the what seems to be most important in a woman's life, I can judge by that. But then again, we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. So anything is possible. But I know one thing. Anytime they do not pick the individual that should win, and they send someone else that should not have won to Miss Universe, that person will not win Miss Universe. And that's a guarantee. And I've noticed that many times. And I can say that for the young woman that won this time also. There's no way she can win Miss Universe.
Well, we never have, right? We never have won Miss Universe, right?
Excuse me?
We never have won Miss Universe, have we?
We've never had what?
That our contestant has won the Miss Universe pageant.
No. We've never had a Caymanian woman that could have won that has won Miss Universe, and if it continues, if these contests continue to go the way that they're going, which I believe are unfair, that's my personal belief, and I'll stick to that. Once the unfairness continues, and an individual that should not have won wins, and they send that individual to represent Cayman at the Miss Universe World title, that individual will never win if they unfairly won here in Cayman Islands as Miss Cayman Universe. And that's a guarantee. So until they get that sorted out, and I think it's the person in charge of the Miss Universe, Cayman, and the judges also who are responsible.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a panel of independent judges, so.
Yes, but those judges should be chosen not just by the Miss Cayman Universe board members. Those judges should be chosen differently. If you really want a fair contest with judges who are going to judge fairly, that's my personal belief.
All right. Okay. But I mean, they had the franchise for, the Miss Universe in Cayman. So it's really their thing to select who's going to be doing the judges. And I think they do their best to find independent judges. But I got to take a break. So thank you for your call. Take care. We'll be right back with more Talk Today.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The Cayman Islands government has released the first 100 days report, available now at gov.ky/strong start. This Friday, 22nd of August, join us at Scott's Dock, Cayman Brac, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Ministers and parliamentary secretaries will share key achievements from the first 100 days in office and the work ahead to improve lives across our islands. Be informed, be part of the conversation.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we're coming down to the end of the line here, so if you want to give me a call, tell me what's on your mind, you only have about 9 minutes to do so. So don't wait on till 2:28 to call me. That's a little bit too late. But I see here that propane suppliers are calling for more safety regulations. We had a couple of incidents where propane, there was an explosion at a house, and someone was pretty seriously injured in that, and they're saying that sometimes people get independent service people to do the installation, and it's not always up to par, and they're tightening up on their service to also the propane suppliers. I know I got a notice from Home Gas telling me that I had to do something about my propane tank because it was too close to an electrical source. And I emailed them back and said, but you guys put it in, and you saw the light there when you put it in. And they wrote back and said, well, things have changed, new regulations as far as, I think it was some propane providers association that they're in, that's actually out of the U.S., and these new standards had been put in place. So even though they had done the installation, and it was close, I forget exactly how far how far away it was from a light on the outside, but they were saying it was too close to an electrical source. So I had to do something about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to, get propane. So what are you going to do? So I think these, regulations and standards, they're increasing. And, propane is a great thing, but, it can be very dangerous if you got a faulty installation, gas leak. That's bad news. And apparently they're doing checks now when they come to bring you a new tank, that they'll check for leaks. So that's good to hear. But, people do have independent technicians or service people who may come and they know the basics, but they don't know how to do it up to a certain standard. And that's where some of the problems come in, because sometimes they'll run a line through, drill a hole through a cement wall, and they don't put a proper line in there, and then it starts to corrode while it's, from the chemicals in the cement. And when that happens, it's not going to last very long, and that's where you start to get the leaks and so forth. So make sure that your connections are all good, and I'm sure you can have them come out and take a look at what you do have there, and they will tell you what you need to do to be sure that you're safe, because you don't want any propane leaks. The next thing you know, you've got a fire or an explosion, and that's bad news. And to nobody's surprise, so a recent look at the cost of living. We all know what direction it's going in, right? Going up, but there's a story in the paper today. Soaring food and healthcare costs challenge Cayman's families. Tell me about it. They have a household budget survey. Apparently they did a survey over a 12-month period leading up to January 2024. So that would be what was happening in 2023. And if it was expensive in 2023, it's even more expensive in 2025. The government statistician surveyed 2,400 families on their spending patterns, and they had to keep a little journal about how they were spending their money. And one really big one here, health, 135.5% up. And not only, even medical care is expensive, but the cost of health insurance, that is something that we're going to have to do something about. Health insurance in general, really digs deep into your pocket. And but when it comes to health insurance, it's the law that everybody has to have it. So it's a good business to be in, I guess. It's something that's mandatory. Everybody has to have health insurance. But the cost of getting health coverage is out of sight. And again, this was from 2023, 135.5% up. Imagine what it is today. Pick a number. You'll probably be pretty close to it. Let me see if I can get some details here. Healthcare. Cayman residents now spend more than double per person on healthcare compared to 2015. Healthcare has gone from a relatively minor household cost to one of the fastest rising pressures on family budgets. According to this article, that is largely driven by increased spending on outpatient services, trips to the doctors, or the physio and medicines. The report doesn't analyze the underlying factors, but rising instances of chronic diseases and aging population and inflation linked to U.S. pricing of medicines and technologies are among likely factors. So even just the cost of the treatment itself is skyrocketing here. And, that's part of life in 2025. Well, I'm coming down to the end of the line here. Thank you for joining me on Talk Today. I hope the rest of the afternoon is great. Take care of yourself. I'm Charles Glidden. Have a good one.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital.